Hey everyone, Projector Simulator 1.4 is finally here. This update has been a long time coming. Version 1.4 of Projector Simulator sees the implementation of a new shader-based system, which drastically improves performance and quality due to working on the GPU instead of the CPU as the older legacy method does. Just one note, this shader-based method is only supported in Unity versions 2018.3.8F1 and later. So here I have a test scene which shows the difference between the new shader-based method and the old pre-1.4 legacy method. Note that both projectors have exactly the same settings in terms of lens shift, resolution, etc. They even share the same render texture just for this comparison video, but normally I would recommend having separate render textures for each projector. You can see that the right projector, the new video projector, has a project video script which is driving the render texture. The only difference between these two projectors is that the force legacy method in checkbox is enabled in the left projector. Although the shader method is superior in nearly every way, it's not been tested on all platforms. For this reason, we left you with the ability to drop down to the pre-1.4 legacy method in case you have trouble with the new shader-based method on your platform. So let's play the scene and we will immediately see the difference between the old legacy method and the new shader method. Checking the console, we can see that although both projectors started at 1024 resolution, the legacy method projector has had to drop down to 256 pixels in order to maintain a good frame rate. The shader-based projector, however, has retained its original resolution and therefore was much higher quality. Keystoning is not currently supported under the new shader-based method. Although we still have keystone sliders, if we apply any keystoning at all, the projector will fall back to the legacy method. So I'll have to play and stop the scene before you actually see the keystone effect. So that's actually caused that projector to drop down to 128 resolution instead of 256. We hope to support shader-based keystoning in a later update, but for now we fall back to the legacy method. This new method means we have to change some settings in the images we want to project. Images should be in RGB-A32 format, and render textures in ARGB32 format. So under the image settings, we can force the format to be RGB-A32 and apply. This does mean any crunch compression is lost. You can see some details in the manual of the pros and cons of this. This is to ensure compatibility with other textures used during processing. If these formats don't work for you in your platform or project, then please get in touch. In the meantime, you can drop down to the legacy method. We added a new parameter to the projectors called border size. As under this new shader-based method, we no longer have control over each individual pixel. The black border around a cookie might be lost due to scaling or interpolation during processing. This black border setting can be used to increase the size of the black border before processing, therefore ensuring the border remains intact after processing. This correction is most often required at lower projector resolutions as more information is lost during processing. So this projector here has no lens shift, and if I reduce the cookie size to 256 pixels and the border size to 1, then you'll see we actually start getting this leaking of the light. Where basically, if we take a look at the cookie, you see there is white at the very edge of the cookie where we should have a black border. So what we do to correct this is we have this border size setting. We can just increase that to 2 and that fixes the problem. If you increase this too much, you do reduce the size of the image due to having more black border, so experiment with that value if you ever see that light leaking. The alternative to increasing the border size is to increase the cookie size. as there's less information lost. But for performance reasons, you might just want to increase the border instead. So that is Projector Simulator 1.4. We hope you enjoy the improved performance and quality of the new shader-based system.